Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Path of Exile. Today we are gonna run another tier 4 map. And this time it is Profane Shadows. It's an overgrown shrine map, tier 4. And it has 23% more magical monsters which have bloodline mods. Monsters reflect 13% of their physical damage, yet again no elemental damage reflection. At some point I do want to run an elemental damage reflection map, but this map is not going to be it. On top of that, monsters have 40% extra lightning resistance, which we are not affected by. They also deal 54% extra damage as cold. That's gonna hurt. More damage means more pain, so let's avoid that. And on top of that, they also gain a power charge every 20 seconds, so they are more likely to crit with that cold damage, so we are more likely to get frozen. Fun times. So let's pop this out and see where it leads. So I did have a very quick peek at the wiki. And this is a area that's based on the Chamber of Sins in terms of level design. And the boss is going to be based on the Spider Queen. Based on, it's called a Hybrid Widow. And it's basically a Spider Queen, and as such we have to be aware that there will be chaos damage that we have to deal with at some point. So they killed my golem rather quickly. So far so good. There's a whirling blader in there, let's kill it before it attacks us. Good. The rooms are all gonna be like this, then I will definitely like this. This is like throwing grenades into a barrel of fish. Liking what I'm seeing so far. Oh, a Fizz Reflect boss. Hey, tier 5 underground sea map. Not gonna be ungrateful about that. That's an excellent find. We do have a couple of tier 5 and I might even have a tier 6 map or two. So we are slowly building up the higher level mapping pool, but I do want to run all the tier 4 maps before we do tier 5s. Because things are getting a lot stronger with every level that they go up. Because the damage and the health of monsters, it kind of scales exponentially with level, and after level 68 it goes up pretty darn quickly. So one level does mean that things get quite a bit more difficult, and some of the boss encounters are truly challenging as well. Just gonna see if we can stick to our left hand wall for now. Oh. Let's not get hit by the lightning warp. Hey, Bismuth Flask. Haven't seen one of those in a while. Oh. We'll just give you a frost bomb and then we'll just explode it. Are they frost bearers? Golem is gone again. So, deal with everybody here. So far, this level does lend itself to playing methodical, just clearing one room at a time, sticking to the left hand wall. That's just a good, decent way to prevent opening up more rooms than you need to. And indeed, so up here we have done everything. So there's currently, everything has been explored with the exception of these two doorways that we have yet to go through. They're porting in. Well, that was good timing. Okay, now this is an adjacent room. Let's clear it just to see if it adds something. Oh, shared boom. That means they usually generate their own charges, but I don't think they use them in a really impressive manner. Okay, that's gonna explode a bit, but it's not overly scary. still annoying and it slows you. That's the important bit. Right. So there's another 2 doors that we can push, and this is just looks like it could be a single room off to the side. So let's clear this. And indeed, it is a room off to the side. So once again, the unexplored surface of the map has been kept to a minimum. Is that Tora? That's Tora.
There's some creatures out there that aren't killing each other faster. I have a certain...
Okay, what do you want me to go? Hunt down the infected beasts. We have to backtrack for that. Lovely. Well, at least you get a pointer back, so that's okay. Haven't really done a lot of Tora missions, so we might as well. And these are rather interesting. They have a lot of stuff on them. Level 72 carnal armors. That's not bad. Still working on crafting something new. Are you all... Oh, there's a unique in here. Yo. Die, please. Thank you. Okay, I don't really want to stand in the poison here, people. Okay. Then we get sent onwards into the rest of the level. But first... Oh, current boots, we can pick those up. Then we just put everything in a box. And continue. So one of these days you might also find a Merciless Labyrinth run in between the map videos. I just actually gave it a try, but died in the final fight. And the only video I want to put up is of me actually defeating Exile. So I'm just gonna attempt it every once in a while, and then if it works, I'll post the video and you can see it. But we have noticeably progressed in power since the last time we did go through the labyrinth. But if you might remember, when we finished up Act 3, we actually did the labyrinth there and then, rather than in the middle of Act 4. And we were massively underleveled. Let's see, this is all just clear that now we have to go back to Tora anyway, so we might as well chase our bounty. Do full room clears, but do chase our bounty. And then we'll backtrack for the remaining rooms afterwards. But yeah, we were 65-ish. The labyrinth is 68, so that's just the same as a first tier map. We were massively underleveled and we got massacred. Well, this time the labyrinth itself was doable. Argus was actually doable, though no, he was pretty darn tough. Oh, they are ghostly. I looked right through that. First two fights with Exile were relatively doable, but in the final fight he was buffed by those 3 statues. And man, does he put out an annoying amount of damage then. It was just nothing compared to the first 2 fights. So now retrying it basically every time every day or something. At some point I'm gonna get a map layout with just bonuses for him that will make it doable. This looks like it leads towards a boss fight, maybe. I know. Can't push too far, so I might as well just clear this. Another map. Also, I had corrupted blood on me. But the labyrinth is it's pretty tricky. Even at level 78, the labyrinth is still a challenge. So is finding upgraded gear. That's also rather difficult. Trading for it, crafting it, doesn't really matter. It's harder to come by decent rares. Especially for body armor, I want a 6-link now. Those are pretty expensive, at least on just standard league. I had the luck of finding an Exalted Orb while running maps. So that's my budget now, but I couldn't find anything affordable that was actually useful. There was a single base that I wanted, which is one of the final one with the mana on it, the hybrid armor. But it was just one 6-link, and there was only one for sale, and that one was corrupted for an Exalted Orb, and it didn't have the mods I wanted, so it would actually be a downgrade in terms of stats. In terms of crafting, I have spent at least a dozen Chaos Orbs rerolling armors, so that's not the best way to obtain upgrades either. So yeah, endgame progression, it's at some point you get stuck because your gear becomes it becomes the limit of how far you can still progress, since you need better gear in order to get further into the game. And that's basically the point where I'm at now, that's where you start to feel it. This is a curiously empty room. No tier 5, I'm over tier 4 currently. I'm pushing that's still doable. Izaro, that was pretty darn tricky. The Merciless Labyrinth, that was not an obvious victory, so to say. And we got Torah to 5. And if I push faster and harder into the maps at some point, I'm just gonna get to a point where maybe even the regular mobs will start to get really painful, and where I might encounter a boss that I just can't handle. The museum, tier 3 museum, felt like that as well, because there's just so much chaos damage coming from them, and well, my chaos resistance is rather typical for most builds, I think. As in negative, and that's a big problem for chaos opponents. I mean, if I'm resisting chaos at maximum, then I can deal with it. But right now, nope. The option of switching over to CI, to Chaos Inoculation, which comes with a free chaos immunity, is nice, but I feel like I would want to have at least 6,000 energy shields on the timer. Ooh, hello there, Hybrid Widow. Here, have some of my friends as my partners here. Then we'll just take care of you. Okay, so orbit, cursor, and shooter. We got her. Ooh, deerskin boots. Thicket bow. Deerstalkers. Socket gems are supported by level 11 trap. Got some evasion on there, some life, increased traps throwing speed, and movement speed after throwing a trap. 4 times. And 6 sockets, so that's gonna be more currency. Let's see, more than 50 remain, so let's see, pick up the Omen Wand, dump things in the pockets, and then we continue. But yeah, endgame crafting is a massive currency sink, and that's probably just going to involve just running through lots of map, slowly, you know, turning rare items into chaos orbs, finding chaos orbs if you're lucky enough, and then using those to reroll decent rares, and hoping for something good. Because the alternative is using an Orb of Transmutation and Orbs of Alteration to roll decent blue, then upgrading the rare, the blues to a rare with 3 sockets, and then using Exalted Orbs to get more mods on top of that. That's gonna make freaking expensive things, but at least you have some control over some of the mods. And of course there's a crafted mod you can put on as well, but that's gonna be, well, rather ridiculously expensive affair in terms of currency. So I feel that chaos spamming rares is a better way. Oh, it's the only way. Alternative is just alking things. And then you could potentially scour bases and then alchem again, things like that. So it might be that once we defeat the labyrinth and we get to a point where we're kind of stuck in terms of progression, that I'm just gonna call this series to a close and just focus on our toxic Viking character. And maybe the overhaul, maybe just make a final build guide for this build as I'm playing it now. Because as I said before, a lot of insights have changed and we have reached 0 monsters. Now I'm playing the build differently now than I played it at the start, because at the start I was just scouting the build, so to say, just exploring what I could do with it. And now I've got more experience, and in the end, your life pool, your resists, your defenses, the quality of your gear is definitely something that will gauge how far you can get into the end game. So in hindsight, no, I probably advanced a lot faster through the first and second tier maps than I should have. Then it would have been responsible, let's put it that way. But no, the thing is, I was eager to get further to higher tiers to play things I haven't seen yet. Because the crypt and the dungeon and all those tier 1 maps, they're kind of been there, done that on previous characters, so there's no excitement in there, and I can imagine that for most of you that's going to be the same as well, since I've played them on previous characters, you've played them yourself. They're not interesting, so from the higher level maps it does get a little bit more interesting. But yeah, for now, tier 4 seems to be pretty doable. Actually, we made it through pretty fine, so that gives hope. Maybe this was not one of the tougher mobs. And Museum, definitely an evil map. That's one I will actually just actively avoid on hardcore characters. Oh, that's one of the nice things, of course, of having a softcore character on maps. You can scout out maps, you can try out maps, get a feel for how the boss behaves, what the strategies are, what the dangerous bosses are, so you can avoid them with hardcore characters. Because with hardcore characters doing completely new content, in Path of Exile, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna lose your character, because the unknown is very, very dangerous. And with those fortune cookie level wisdom words, I'm gonna leave you. I'll see you again next episode, when we either run the labyrinth or we run another map. Bye bye.